Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Visit Worth It, the series where I share my review and my opinion on different video games that I have experienced. Today's video is about the new SquareEnix IP, and this is Balan Wonderworld. Balan Wonderworld was developed by Arzest, a studio who worked in a few Super Mario games plus Yoshi Island, and SquareEnix's new subordinary team, the Balan team. The game was published from SquareEnix for all consoles, including the next gens, in April 2021. The game, for those who followed it, was highly anticipated as the game's main director and character designer were the former head of and creators of the popular Sonic the Hedgehog, Yuji Naka, former head of the Sonic team, and Naoto Oshima. I'ma be honest here, I was on the anticipated side of the coin. SquareEnix made a public tweet saying that they had a major announcement, and in my head I thought it was gonna be Final Fantasy VII Remake news or Kingdom Hearts news, but to my surprise, the link I followed led me to a countdown with Balan's hat. 4 days later, the countdown reached 0 and the game Balan Wonderworld was announced. This also came around while I was playing a lot of 3D platforming games such as Spyro Reignited Trilogy and Tearaway, both on Vita and on the PS4. The trailer showed that this game was gonna be a 3D platformer with 80 plus hero abilities made by the former employees of Sonic, with SquareEnix publishing it. The character of Balan looked cool, so I was in for it. I received the PS5 version of the game as a gift for my birthday. The story of the game is really weird and odd with a few flaws. In my head, a 3D platformer doesn't have to be the perfect story as long as the gameplay is cool. For example, in Mario, you literally save the princess over and over again from Bowser. In Scratch Nutty Adventure, you were told to go get crystallized nuts, and in Spyro, in the first game, all the dragons turn into rocks, so you save them. Then you have to collect some orbs in order to get to Ripto, and in the other one you have to recapture all the stolen eggs. I could go on and on, but I believe my point was made. A good gameplay in a 3D platformer can make up for a mediocre story. In Balan Wonderworld, you start as either Leo Craig or Emma Cole, two children who have common prologue of them being sad. They both see a small furball and they choose to follow it. They found themselves into a house filled with lights called the Wonderworld. They choose to enter the house, which seemed to be abandoned, and they are greeted from Balan. I will call it a genie with a top hat, who every time he is on the screen, it reminds me of the movie Mask, starring Jim Carrey. He starts dancing, spinning left and right, creating magical appearances, and then sucks them all into a hole. You are then placed on the island called the Island of Teams, and you choose to play levels. Yeah, that's basically it from the main story prologue. Each level consists of 2 acts, Act 1 and 2, and a boss level. At the end of Act 2 of each level, you are greeted with a cutscene of a person who seems to have an accident and drove themselves to sadness. You are then dropped into the boss battle, and upon successfully killing the boss, you are greeted with another scene of that person finding happiness and a reason to keep moving on in life. Think of it as the dentist. You have a terrible toothache that saddens you. Your character acts as the dentist who heals you, and then you're happy again since you can eat. At the end of all of this, you sort of find out who Balan is, and you find your own happiness. Upon finishing the final fight, the game will unlock a secret Act 3 for every map, so instead of 13 maps having 2 acts and a boss fight, 12 of them have 3 acts and a boss room, with the exception of 1 being the final boss level. However, the game says nothing to confirm or deny the theory other than the opening cutscene. What it does is, you play one level, you play Act 2, you get a cutscene, you go to the boss level, you fight the boss, you get another cutscene, and you're back to the Island of Teams, ready to pick another level. Story is not its strength, but can the gameplay save it? Well, unfortunately, Balan Wonderworld has too many and yet so little. First things first, do you play as Balan? Well, no. Unfortunately, the guy in the posters is not playable other than quick time events. To elaborate, while in a level, you come across golden Balan hats that trigger a cutscene with Balan flying, and you have to perfect time a fade out Balan with the normal Balan. That's all the Balan gameplay you'll get. The other thing closer to Balan is summoning the ultimate team, aka the bird, through a ritual, and he'll reward you with Balan's outfit that can hover on air and jump as many times in air. However, you cannot shoot beams like in the cutscenes nor multi-punch enemies. Instead, you are played as one of the heroes I mentioned above. In every level, you collect crystals of 4 different colors: yellow, red, pink and blue. These are used to breed teams. The three colors outside of the yellow are mainly used for the ritual, while the yellow one is generally just to breed. The other form of collectibles are the Balan statues that are used to unlock further maps. The other type of collectible is the rainbow teardrops that you collect from statues, which once again act as materials for the ritual. Last but not least, the main items, the costumes. Every map has keys in obvious places, and you use these keys to unlock costumes with their own power-up. As the game claims, there's around 80 plus skins that the player can unlock. Some very helpful, while some are just pretty much useless. These items allow you to hover in air, shoot enemies, punch enemies, stealthy avoid enemies, and many more. However, I'm gonna be 100% honest, some of them are just reskins plus a bit more. For example, the cat skin, which allows you to airwalk for a while, is the same as the frozen deer, with the exception of the deer slightly going upwards. The game has only 3 buttons. Yep, 3 buttons. 1 for moving around, 1 to jump, and 1 to swap in between skins. I'm not kidding when I say that X, square, circle, triangle, R2 and L2 do the same thing both in-game and on the main menu. This for me is a real deal breaker, as there are so many times I wanted to close a window with circle and I did something else, like opening or going in the deeper menu. This one button mechanic messes with the gameplay a lot. For example, there are skins like the pumpkin ladder, whose skin power is punching. This punch mechanic does not allow the player to jump. Yep, you heard correctly. In a 3D platformer, the power-ups do not allow you to jump. Another disadvantage of this is that there is more than one skin with such mechanic, such as the firefighter, the boomerang wand, and many others. So imagine this scenario: you have 2 firefighters and a cat suit. You drop somewhere and lose your cat power. However, there is a fence in front of you and you cannot move forward. Since your other 2 costumes are the firefighters, you're pretty much locked, with your only option being purposely lose your power-ups. Other power-ups require you to stop moving so that the ability can be triggered. For example, rocket launcher and the chest piece are activated by standing still. Others need specific requirements, such as the gadget and the ladder. You have to step on the correct square in order for you to use their abilities. Last but not least, there are suits that act whenever they want. Suits like Stealth, Sonic Speed, and Foxpot act completely on their own whenever they feel like it. The player has no control over them. They cannot do them on their will, they cannot press a button. It's all on their own. Every level will most likely have one of the 3 minigames, these being bowling, baseball, and soccer. You basically have to press a button at the right time, and you have 3 goes. You receive extra gems when finishing them. Being a 3D platformer means you can die in a few ways: die from dropping into an unplayable area, dying from traps of the map like fire and stun by items, and being hit by enemies. To elaborate on the latter 2, now there's a trick. You don't lose a life if you're equipped with a costume, instead you lose that costume. Once you're without a power-up and your character is exposed, you can no longer damage an enemy. Instead, if they hit you or if you try to hit them, both the enemies or the environment, you will lose a team. Teams are the little birds that spawn with you and follow you. Once your last team is disappeared and you receive a blow, you are thrown outside of the map and back into the island of teams. The combat has 2 forms: attack the enemies using the power-up of your own costume, or jump above the enemy given that they don't have spikes or other power-ups on top of their head. The boss battles will always require you to hit the enemy 3 times, and in most cases you'll be giving specific power-ups of the level. The music of the game and the animations are really nice. Graphical wise, the game runs smooth and the cutscenes are gorgeous, filled with color. The music is calm and relaxing and jazzy when Balan appears on screen. The game also offers local multiplayer. I personally did not try it yet, as none of my close friends own a PS5 controller, and since my copy was a PS5, the PS4 controller will not really work. However, I did my research and it seems to be good. The camera locks on both players so none of them can run out of the screen, and it allows you to combo tag when platforming in dangerous area, where one player controls both of them during jumping. That is, if the player chooses to do that. To sum up, the game is alright, it ain't the best of its genre though. It offers a different experience with amazing cutscenes and beautiful music. The negatives of the games, to sum them up as well, are first things first, the one button command for both in-game and menu selection. The story is not something interesting and it barely makes sense. The power-ups are random and weird, as some act on their own and others remove your jumping ability. In a platformer, You can store as many skins as you want, but you'll always have to go inside the checkpoint gate to collect the skins again. When you run out of a skin, you'll have to go back to the level where you collected it and recollect it again. You do not play as Balan outside of QuickTime events, and there is no explanation as to what's going on story-wise and in the island of the teams. It felt like they tried to copy Mario Odyssey, but kinda failed. If you played the Sonic Advance games on the Game Boy, you remember the Cow Garden. Well, that's kind of what they tried to do with the Island of Teams, but they removed the entire fun out of it. Personally, I do not hate the game. I hate some aspects of it, yes, but I'm not 100% a hater or trash talk it. I believe most of us had just great expectations. First of all, being a SquareEnix game with the creators of Sonic the Hedgehog, plus a company who worked on plenty of Mario games, I can imagine what the game could have been. But hey, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Tell me in the comments if you like the game, which power-up is your favorite, and overall thoughts on the game. My top 5 skins will be Balance, Tornado Bird, Frozen Deer, Hovering Flower, and the Bout. Although I do like some others as well. Take care, and I'll see you all on the next one. See ya!